All right, what's up, everybody? It is I, Miss Sophia the Diva, and I am here to do the final installment on Iyanla Vanzant's Fix My Life House of Healing. Healing the Angry Black Man. This was a three-part series in which she worked with some celebrities as well as lesser known people. The most interesting thing is that we didn't get to hear the stories of some of the other angry black men that were on there, particularly I forgot what the one guy's name is, but he said that he was tired of being a player, basically being a man with the inability to commit. The other guy was Michelangelo. We really didn't learn a lot about what his wants and needs were because she was too busy focusing on Terrence Washington, who is none other than the father of Lyra Galore, former fiance of Rick Ross. And him and his shenanigans it was just entirely too much. I mean, I really feel like, honestly, from a helping perspective, it would have been helpful and beneficial for the others to have not been apprised of having him part of the discussion. Hey, Teresa. Hey, Don. Welcome to the discussion. So, because honestly, there are a lot of issues with Terrence that it needed to be in his own personal story. Him and his wife apparently are so compounded in the I mean, what woman, and this question was asked last week, what woman would not want her husband to go and get some help and become a better person? When he was on the phone with her after he had finally decided to leave before completing the program along with his brothers, she was like, she's just been feeding you some bullshit and da 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 and all this stuff. Is that you? Who did she tell you you were worthless? Did she tell? She's just, and I was just like, and all of my friends and stuff that, well, my Twitter friends, as I like to call them. Hey, Storm. Hey, Miss Diane. Oh, Chocolate Storm is in the building. Hey, girl, hey. So I just felt like Terrence's wife, there is a story there. And I'm curious if Iyanla Vanzant in maybe the next season or as a special, because I think this was the season finale. I could be wrong. But I'm wondering if maybe Lyra Galore's mother and Jennifer, Terrence's current wife, maybe she was the reason why Lyra Galore's mother didn't, come together. Huh? No? Have you been Storm? Have you been watching the Iyanla Vanzant series on healing the angry black man? Basically, this one guy that was on there that they focused a lot on. That really, this guy that they used, he really should have had his own series. He should have had like a 2-part series because his wife is very controlling. She doesn't want him to go anywhere, be away from her any period of time. It really seems like she was the woman who probably got him from Lyra's mama and felt like, okay, well, I got to hold on to him because let's be real. Anytime, the same way you get a man is how you will lose a man. So if you knew that he was, with somebody else in a committed relationship and you decide to roll on up in the middle, I mean, that's what can happen, and that can cause insecurity. And so I think, honestly, that's what happened with Terrence and his wife. And I really feel bad because he really wanted to be there, but at the same time, he was scared of losing his wife and what he currently has. And apparently, she has done some browbeating and led him to believe that that's what could happen. So I just think that she's just too many. She needs help. Kevin, the other guy that has done work with Chris Brown, who has a daughter with the beautiful Eva Marcel, he has some major anger issues. His mother, but he's okay. Nurture. Does anybody on here agree that over time, don't you have to like eventually come to a revelation that I am not my mother and my father? I do not have to engage in the behaviors, the unhealthy behaviors of my parents. Kevin essentially did not want to take ownership of his behavior. He continued to say that because of his parents, because of the violence he witnessed in his house, that is why he is the man he is. I was just like, okay. But his mama was a little gangster. I said, oh, he talking about like that time you threw that knife at daddy. And she was like, I didn't throw the knife at him. If I wanted to throw the knife at him, I would have. I was throwing for the door. Trust, I would have hit him if I had been aiming for him. I was like, oh, goddamn. I said, yeah. And so they had their apology. So I was glad to see, his mama. But I'm wondering where the other men's mamas was. But honestly, Kevin said that he felt like there was so much volatility in his parents' marriage that his mother should have left. And she was like, I had my reasons for staying. So I'm just going to pray for Kevin, because they showed in the update at the end that he went back to his mother's house. Now, mind you, she had filed a restraining order against him too, because she wanted to keep him away because she was afraid of him. And, it's sad when your 29-year-old son is someone to be feared. And he can't live with you while he's, going through whatever it is. Because I guess he doesn't have a gig right now because he was working with Chris Brown, and he had a falling out with Chris Brown as well. So he's burned a bridge, which I find interesting that him and Chris were beefing, because both him and Chris Brown have like these anger problems. Although I will say that Chris seems to be doing very well working through his, although people keep trying to pull Chris Brown into mess all the time for whatever reason. Shout out to Mark Garagos for protecting my boo. Y'all know I love me some Chris Brown, because I believe in giving people second chances. Just not Donald Trump. Let's see, who else? I guess Michael from Boys to Men. He has not reached out to his brothers in Boys to Men, but he has been redeveloping a relationship with his kids. Iyanla Vanzant called him out for encouraging his children to lie during that 3-year period after he had left his marriage, and his kids were talking to him, but at the same time they weren't telling his mom. But in my mind, I was like, while I don't per se say that lying is right, but look what the results were, is that she had already said she didn't want him to communicate with his own children. And once she found out what was going on, she shut out all lines of communication to their father. And I don't think that's right. That's another thing I don't like about certain women. As long as the man is not putting the child in or precarious situations, let the child figure out whether their parent is an asshole or not. I think that would be best. While it may hurt and be disappointing, I just think it's best that the child find out on their own, hey, my dad sucks, or hey, my mom sucks. There's a reason why this particular parent has custody of me. I'm so happy for this young man, Clarence. Vaughn says, this season has healed me too. My issues are a little different, but I promised myself tonight to reach out to Pops. This will surely be strange, but I'm going to do it for peace. Vaughn, I will be lifting you up in prayer. And anytime you want to talk, I'm always open to talk to my friends. So I can understand that the strained relationship of the father. Anywho, my father and I are talking, but we had a little snafu back in 2006. Sad it took a death to bring us back together. Oh, Clarence, okay, I'm always rooting for the brother who has been part of the prison industrial complex, modern day slave. He has been in and out of the prison system since age 17, plus he is a good-looking brother, too. Tell y'all something, after working in the criminal justice system, trust and believe there's some good-looking brothers in there. I think they just need the right person to love them and embrace them, and maybe they won't go anymore. Or we'll just do whatever we can to keep them here, so that, because all of us wonder where the men at. They locked up, ladies. They locked up. But on a serious note, I was so glad for Clarence, because I was really praying. Last week, I really did pray. He said that he wants to be a barber. Well, the problem is because, of course, he has felonies on his record. Many jobs and doors are closed to him. But shout out to Governor Brown here in the state of California, who is making a way for people not to have to answer certain questions on employment applications, okay? That way, it won't be a bar right away when they see that box check. Because, they say they don't. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, y'all do. So you will deny someone who has a felony or admits to having any type of criminal record, especially if they're a brother and you can figure that out. But the school that he's going to be going to is somewhere here in Orange County, and he's got a full scholarship. I was so happy. I was like, oh my God, thank you, Jesus. Because if only more opportunities were afforded to those who have been a victim of the criminal justice system. So I'm so glad. Be on the lookout for Garage Cuts. That's where he wants to open his business. They're going to also pay for his licensing too. So I'm so happy that he's going to be getting the skills that he needs. Let's see who else. Some dude named Michelangelo. I don't know if y'all remember one episode. I told Iyanla, I said, girl, you better get him. He over there having a meltdown. Help him. They were trying to do the little barbed wire getting over the wire thing. And I don't even know what his issues are. I think he must have had issues with his kids or something. Hell, I don't know. But either way, he said that his relationship with his children are better. They had a rite of passage ceremony. Louis Gossett Jr. was there, Dr. Beckwith. And I can't remember who all was there, but these were men there to help these young men who are going through. Although that Michelangelo dude, they said he was 46. I said, 46 where? Black don't crack, baby. I thought he was like 20 something. And then even Clarence, he's 38. And I thought he was like maybe 30 or something. Chad, black don't crack. Okay. Let me see what other comments. Iyanla Vanzant on Twitter said, when you keep things on the inside, the weight of it all can hold you down. That is true. And it can also be poisonous to your body as well. That's why we must express ourselves either through writing or phoning a friend or just talking to God. Okay. She says self-doubt is the assassin of self-value and self-worth. When you doubt yourself, you devalue yourself. So in everything that we do, I think Iyanla is saying, go with confidence and just believe. Even if sometimes you get let down and disappointed. Kevin talked about emotional manipulation, and I found that interesting because when Terrence was getting ready to leave the house of healing, his wife was saying that he was emotionally manipulating her. I was like, how? He's telling you he needs to get some help, and he realized that there are things about him that he needs to fix. One of my Twitter friends, she said, dear parents, y'all taught me this, excuse the language, fuckery, signed all the confused and ill-behaved adults. Because, Kevin blamed his mom. Louis Gossett Jr. gave some great advice. He said, there is no such thing as impossible. And as we know in that word, it says, I'm possible. I think that's pretty much it for Iyanla Vanzant. I am loving the memes, though. On a different note, I am loving the Joe Biden Obama memes. That is hilarious. There's a page on Instagram called, and this is what it's called, Fuck Jerry, is their handle. And they have some of the cutest memes, but it's hilarious. Like I'm reading one right now that I came across on Twitter. It was on my Twitter feed. Biden says, I'm not giving them the Wi-Fi password. Obama's like, Joe, we have to give them the Twitter password. So, anywho, I wanted to touch on that real quick. Again, guys, I talked about earlier in my live video about the results of the election. I know a lot of people are not loving the results, and a lot of people are heartbroken, devastated, scared out their minds, and freaked out. But I find most interesting that the majority of these people that are freaked out are saying that they're Christians. My thing is, why are you worried if you're a child of God? Don't you know that God will, in Psalms 37, it talks about God never seen the righteous forsaken, even when the evil people of the world are doing things. So I just feel like, and plus, I also had mentioned, and this guy named Prince EA that my friend tagged me in, and if you want to look at my news feed, that video is there. Anytime that there is a sickness, there is an alarm that goes off, and it lets you know that you need to go to the doctor. Well, the symptom of as a result of these symptoms, we now know that we have a problem when you have someone that gets elected like Donald Trump. The irony to me of it all is how, and that's why I said throughout this whole election season that one of the issues I have is that it seems like when it comes to the Democrats and black people, there's always a double standard. But when the Republicans do stuff that is so egregious and so unbelievable, people kind of just look the other way like, oh, no, that really didn't happen. Because like Donald Trump, the Republicans always tout that they love God. We about family values. Okay, if Obama had been running for president and had been married 3 times and had a wife that had been the centerfold for Playboy or had been naked at any given time, do you honestly think they would have allowed him to be elected? Not to mention to say the type of horrible and some of the things that Donald Trump has said has been so unconscionable. I'm just like, what the hell? But that just goes to show you how double-minded they are and how at the end of the day, they're going to use him as a puppet because number one, they know he don't know what he's doing. I saw somebody had written how it is for us when we hit law school. For those of us who have been to law school, you know how you always go to class. Okay, in undergrad, we go to class, get the syllabus, bam. We read, we prepped and prepared for the second time we go to class, right? In law school, day one, you have a syllabus. In day one, you have read about 40 or 50 pages, if not more, for just one subject. Well, that's what happened to Donald Trump when he went to visit the White House. He found out that your job starts today, buddy. And we are going to fill you in on everything. These are the people you need to talk to, get to know. These are the things that we do. This is the day-to-day. 90 minutes he met with President Obama. And after that meeting, he was in shock. Buddy, being president is not just getting suited and booted and standing up and making speeches and shaking hands. Being president is having to be in deep thought and have to make the tough decisions. And it's just like being a 1L, as we're called in law school. It is not easy that first day. You are shocked. You might even get cussed out and kicked out of class if you're not prepared. So were you prepared to be president, Donald Trump? This is just, the next 4 years is just an opportunity, as I said, for us to, number one, we are shook. It's almost like a Category 9 hurricane just came through this country and swept it. People are in shock, and I get that. I get that. But at the same time, we have to do the work to figure out what went wrong. What does the Midwest want? I can tell you, number one, they want jobs. When you look at places like Flint, Michigan, my God, it's like they've been forsaken. These people want something new, and I guess Hillary just didn't give it to them. Although the popular vote did say that Hillary was giving them something they could feel. It is disappointing, but I made my peace on Monday night, and I was in thought and meditation and prayer at that time. And I guess God was kind of telling me, get ready, because here it comes. And it's not the outcome that you're going to want. It is what it is, but don't just let it be what it is. Do the work. Start paying attention. If you want to see the change in this world, start paying attention. Number one, as I said throughout the entire campaign, and I posted about it, talked to my friends about it, pay attention to the congressional elections. You have a House-controlled Senate. You have a Senate that's controlled by Republicans, and you have a House controlled by Republicans. And now the executive branch is Republican. We also, as a people, have not pushed for Congress to convene a special session to even talk and consider Obama's nominee for the empty seat on the Supreme Court. And no one seems to be paying attention to that. What I'm praying and hoping for is that, number one, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, you better hold on for the next 4 years, girl. Please hold on. Justice Breyer, please hold on. Who else is... there's 3 of them that are old. Is it Kagan? I don't know. But either way, and then, of course, Scalia passed away, and, we still have that seat open, and no one seems to be paying attention or worried or concerned about that. I do like what people are starting to campaign, though, as far as everybody donate to Planned Parenthood and say that in the name of Governor Pence, and, they'll send him a certificate thanking him for his donation. Oh, I said that's a good one. I love it. If I had some money, I totally would. Oh, last week I wanted to talk about it, and I finally saw the full interview. Lil Wayne. Okay. So we saw the interview where he was saying that he's not about Black Lives Matter, his all lives matter. He ain't never said nothing about Black Lives Matter, but they got them tape. Well, that's when we knew for sure he was still on that lean and probably could have had a seizure at any given time. He said, I'm a rich black man. I was like, you need to be on Iyanla Vanzant. He said something about he's a rich black man and that he talking about my life matters and to my life matters to my bitch too. And I was like, what does that have to do? And his excuse was that earlier the interviewer had asked him about his misogynistic lyrics and would he have a problem with someone ever referring to his daughter as a bitch. And he got heated. But to me, I'm like, it's a fair question because why would you not think that someone would ask you that? Because you do. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, a lot of rappers I listen to, they use it. I guess I just overlook it because I love me some Snoop Dogg and some Tupac, rest his soul. By the way, I've been listening to Tupac. It's almost like he was prophetic. Some of the stuff that's going on right now, he talked about that. Go back and listen to Machiavelli and what was the album before that? Before he even got on death row, while he was in prison, that album was out. Anyway, it's the one that has I suffered through the years. It's just so many tears. So that one, yeah, it's deep. So, but we need to honestly, when people like Trick Daddy and Lil Wayne and all of them get up and start talking, it scares me because I think that the rest of America thinks that that's how all of us are, and we are not. And speaking of which, I want to let everyone know, and don't be offended, I'm saying this in love. Dear white people, and any other person that wants to think otherwise, please know that Alma Rose, Billy Goat, Manigoat, whatever her name is, does not speak for the African American. Okay? She does not. Okay? I don't know. Next time, if her tipsy behind show up again at another NAACP Image Awards after party, I'm going to tip her on over. Okay? That's what I'm going to do. If I catch her at another one, because girl, no, I just can't with her. But please know she does not speak for us, nor does that jive turkey sheriff that kept getting up there acting like he wasn't black. I don't know, but they don't speak for us. Okay. Anything else happened this week? I think all of us are suffering from PTSD of some sort. A lot of people are. And people out here marching in the streets. Please stop insulting those people. Let them. It's a grieving process. We'll all get through this. We just have to become rational and start planning for the next 4 years. We must mount and come up with I'm off of Cory Booker. Cory Booker, I like him. The New Jersey senator, I like him. Maybe him and Kamala can run on a joint ticket. I know people keep saying, oh, we want Michelle Obama. Michelle has said time and time again she has no vested interest in running for office. So I think we should let that go. But what about that Vogue spread? Yes! Go First Lady. I was like, oh, I hope I look that damn good when I reach 50 plus. Damn. Black don't crack. Anywho, I think that's all I've got because I want to try to catch Saturday Night Live. I heard it's really dope. Dave Chappelle and A Tribe Called Quest, which, by the way, I started listening to the new Tribe Called Quest. Rest in peace, Fight Dog. Oh, Jesus. It looks like it's going to be good. I mean, it looks like it's going to be good, and the album is pretty dope, too, by A Tribe Called Quest. They're the very first song off the top. I mean, it's like, wow, it hits you. And I've been thinking about that. I was like, you think all that time they've been going to space and going to Mars, they've been building a colony on the moon and in Mars, and they gonna leave us? Something to think about. Conspiracy. But that's all I've got. I'm tired. I've had a long day. LA, I hate you for your traffic. I love you for your weather, but I hate you for your traffic. I also hate you for your taxes, but that's a different story. But that's all I've got. Everyone have a fabulous night. I was going to start on my journey back to going back to church consistently, but I think I'm going to let the people who feel like they need to run to Jesus this Sunday because they scared out their mind. Because like I always say, whenever bad things happen, people run to two different places. Some people three. Or they go. They go to Jesus, or they go crazy, or they go home to their mama. Anywho, that's all I've got. Good night, everyone. Everyone stay fabulous, stay sweet. I have been Miss Sophia the Diva.